Can you imagine a homicide scene? There's a body right there. And not 5 feet away from that dead body is a 5-year-old boy playing as if nothing's happened. That's the mindset of most kids in Richmond. The very point of the Office of Neighborhood Safety is to reduce firearm-related homicides. In an effort to do that, you've got to understand the nature of it, and you've got to understand the drivers of it.
So these are the people that we should be putting emphasis on, and these should all be sort of like leaders, right? So if we get these guys, some other guys should come with them.
Each of the people on our team was selected intentionally. We were looking for people who not necessarily had a background like the young men, but more importantly, people who cared about these young men.
Our job is to be on the streets talking to folks, interaction, building relationships. The car is our office, the street corner is our conference room.
I found myself in a room with a myriad of law enforcement agencies, and what I continued to hear was that they believed that 28 people were responsible for 70% of the gunfire in our city in the year 2009. And I said, these 28 people are all we're going to focus on. Before we could hit the ground running, we lost 3 of those young men to gun violence. So we invited the 25 living to City Hall, and 21 of them dared to show up. That tells you they're hungry for something real.
We're going to develop a step-by-step plan to be successful. We also decided we were going to be an advocate for the population. And then finally, we raised about $1.2 million private dollars. And I was going to find a way to make sure the money got to these young men.
I think the biggest question that comes up is, why would we spend these kinds of resources on people who should be in jail? Our philosophy and approach is we're not going to arrest our way out of gun violence. The way we're going to get ourselves removed from gun violence is developing and shaping these young men in a different way. We see these young men as vital and viable partners, and we have to understand the power that these young men bring to the table.
So the young man that we're going to get right now, he's one of our fellows, and his neighborhood is really entrenched in the middle of something serious going on right now, and still he takes a stand to not right now. He's trying to stay away from all the foolishness.
The context that has led me to where I've landed professionally has a lot to do with having access to positive, adult, healthy men. My parents divorced when I was 9 years old, and that meant my father was out of the home. It was during that period my first mentor showed up at a time when I really needed some adult guidance.
I think all the time, like, if I had a dad, feel me, then maybe it'd be different.
Having access to adult male figures is vital. It's, in Richmond, vital to survival.
When I was growing up, I thought that being a man was all the flashy cars, the women, and pretty much everything fancy that comes with being out here on the block all day. As you get older, you look at it and you be like, man, like, was it ever really worth it? A lot of my partners out here, they either dead or in jail. So it's like, if it wasn't for ONS coming to me, like, I don't think I'd be here right here talking to you.
I'm gonna be 5 years old. Daddy, what you looking for? You always looking out that window. Here's a young man with a great deal of courage. That's what we do. We work diligently on connecting with those kinds of young men who have grown up in war zones. The war in Richmond goes back 30 years. Gun violence isn't being reduced because of the police alone. The primary reason is because these young men are making better decisions. I think systems, I think programs, I think people make it harder than it needs to be. And I'm grateful that we've been given the kind of latitude in the city of Richmond that we've been given to do some pretty innovative, special things in partnership with some very special young people.